In this section, we're going to be talking about multiplying a monomial by a polynomial. We already know the definition of a monomial. That's when we learned exponents, we were doing monomials. We multiplied monomials, divided monomials, and we worried about those exponent rules. Polynomials we know is more than one term. So this is really not any type of new information. The only thing I want you to recall is that when we had exponents, what was that product rule? Remember, if we had x to the a times x to the b, what did our exponents do? They added. So this would be x to the a plus b. So that was the rule that we used, is that we added exponents. So if you look at example 1, all we're doing is a distributive property. We're multiplying x times x, which is x squared, and x times 4, which is positive 4x. Look at example 2. We have 5m cubed times 3m to the second. So my coefficients do what they're told, 15. M to the fifth, those exponents add. I distribute 5m to the third times negative m, which is negative 5m to the fourth. And I distribute 5m to the third times negative 7, which is negative 35m to the third. Let's do a few more practice problems. I'm going to do the odd ones, and we go through them pretty quickly. So if you want to pause and come back to check your answers, that would be wise. So here, k times k is k squared. K times negative 9 is negative 9k. Negative 6p times p to the fourth is negative 6p to the fifth. Negative 6p times negative 8, a negative times a negative is a positive 48p. Let's move this up. And let's look at number 5. Negative 4g squared times 2g is negative 8g to the third. Negative 28g squared. Number 7, when I distribute, I get negative 3n to the third. When I distribute here, a negative times a negative is a positive 6, and I have 2 n's. And a negative 3n times 8 is negative 24n. Okay, so it's doing the same thing we did when we did multiplying monomials. So look at this one. How many p's do I have? I have p to the 7th, q to the 5th. And when I distribute here, I get negative p to the 3rd, q to the 4th. So I'm just adding my exponents. All right. When I look at number 11, I get negative 10r to the 4th s squared. When I distribute here, I get 15r to the 3rd s to the 3rd. And here I get negative 20r to the 2nd, s to the 4th. Okay, so that's just kind of review what we did with monomials. Now, what we're going to do when we, down here on these, first we have to distribute, then simplify. So now we're combining what we did with learning exponents and what we did that last section. So if you look at number 17, I get y times y is y squared, y times 4 is plus 4y. Distribute over here, negative y times y is negative y squared. Negative y times negative 3 is positive 3y. And then I have this negative 9y. Remember, you can only combine like terms, so I have this y squared and this negative y squared, and they cancel out. I have 4y, 3y, and negative 9y, so 7y and a negative 9y is negative 2y. And that would be my final answer. If you look at number 19, and I distribute, I get 12xy, distribute here and get negative 8x squared y squared, plus 13x squared y squared minus 6. So here I can only combine like terms, so this guy and this guy is alike. So negative 8 and a positive 13 is 5. So I get 5x squared y squared. This guy is by himself, so plus 12xy. And then this constant term, remember constant terms go at the end. And so this is my final answer. So it's a lot of little steps and then combining at the end. So if you look at number, let's do 23 and 24. So I'm going to distribute first, and I get negative 2r to the fourth. A negative times a negative is positive 12r to the third. And a negative times a positive is a negative 6r. Here I have this plus r, 4r cubed. Here I have to distribute this negative, so it becomes negative 5r to the fourth. And when I distribute here, I get negative 10r. Now, I'm going to circle my like terms. So I have negative 2r to the fourth and negative 5r to the fourth. When I combine those, it gives me negative 7r to the fourth. My r to the thirds, I have 12r to the third and 4r to the third, which is plus 16r to the third. And then lastly, I have negative 12r and negative 10r, which is negative 22r. So none of these can be combined. This is a polynomial. So a lot of little steps that add up. All right, let's look at number 24. I work inside parentheses first. So remember, order of operations still rule of our world. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to distribute and get negative 15ab. And a negative times a negative is plus 10b squared. And then 2a squared. So I'm still inside these parentheses here. So I got to do all this. So now I'm going to combine like terms, but there are no like terms, so I'm good to go. And I'm multiplying, distributing this 4b here. So multiplication next. So I get 8a squared b. 4 times negative 15 is going to be a negative 60 ab squared. And 4b times 10b is plus 40b to the third. And don't forget to tack this on at the end, plus 29ab squared. So now I'm combining like terms, and I get 8a squared b, who cannot be combined with anybody, so I have 8a squared b. And then I've got this negative 60ab squared and this positive 29ab squared, which gives me negative 31ab squared. And then left over, I have this plus 40b cubed. Notice it's in standard form because alphabetical order, highest degree down. All right, we still have geometric applications. So you still need to know how to find the area of a trapezoid, which you should be an expert by now. Remember what it is. You add up your bases, you multiply by your height, and divide by 2. So when I add up my bases here, I combine like terms, and I get 2x cubed plus 8x squared, and 3x and negative x combined to be plus 2x. Now I'm going to multiply it by my height, which is 4x squared. So when I multiply by my height, I distribute, and I get 8x to the fifth plus 32x to the fourth plus 8x to the third. And I'm dividing all of it by 2. Now, here's the deal. When you're dividing it by 2, you're dividing each individual piece by 2. So what happens is you get 4x to the fifth, because you're dividing here. 32 divided by 2 is 16x to the fourth. And when I divide here, I get plus 4x to the third. So that would be my final answer. So formula is the same, a little different when we divide by 2 on the bottom. Okay. Now, let's look at the area of the shaded region right here. So if you look at this, to find the area of the shaded region, you take the area of your large rectangle and you take out the area of your small. So that's it. So the area of my large is 6x times 8x minus 1. That's the area of my large. And it's 48x squared minus 6x right here when I distribute. Now watch what happens here. You're subtracting the area of your small. So when you find the area of your small, it's 2x times 5x plus 3. And when you distribute, you get 10x squared plus 6x. Now, this is a binomial. So when you have the area of the large and you subtract the area of my small, and this is the area of my small, Notice I put it in parentheses because this tells the reader that you have to distribute that negative. So when you distribute the negative, you get 48x squared minus 6x, distribute negative 10x squared and a negative 6x. So now when you combine like terms, you get negative 48x squared, negative 10x squared is 38x squared. And then you have negative 6x and a negative 6x, which is negative 12x. Okay? So this is just putting it all together. If you're struggling, come see me.